What's up, everyone? Today is my 6-month update owning my 2010 Lotus Evora. I can't believe it's been 6 months already. I've had so much fun with this car already. It's crazy the amount of things I've done to it in that short amount of time. I feel like I've had it longer than that. This has been such an awesome car. I am so glad that I'm able to own this exotic looking sports car, experience what it's like to own one of these cars, and share the last 6 months of ownership with all of you. So this is a base model Evora. I bought it with almost 33,000 miles on it. I have roughly 37,600. So I've put almost 5,000 miles on it in the last 6 months of ownership. Now that, to me, that's a good amount. I know it is fairly low, but I do have a motorcycle. I do consider this, though, my daily driver. It is my only vehicle. So if I need to get, of course, things that won't fit on my bike, like some groceries or a second person comfortably, this is it. This is the only car that I have. So all of those 5,000 miles have been mostly fun miles, of course. Even driving it now, of course, is a lot of fun. I get a lot of attention in the car, but a lot of those miles are back roads. We just took our cars to VIR, so that was about a 300-mile round trip. It's finished off in the carbon gray, and I have my own little black pack going on with the car, with the gloss black wheels, the gloss black vinyl wrap, and then, of course, what are you doing? And of course, the desert sand matte stripe running along the center of it. I think it makes this car look a lot more aggressive than it did, just being the solid color. Adds a little bit of flair to it, my own style to the car. So I think it's come a long way. To go back to when I first picked up this car, I would say I was very nervous. I was very anxious about the whole day, buying it, picking it up, and driving it home. I'm much more happy with the car now that I've had some miles on it, been able to play around with it, do some mods to it. When I picked up this car, it was so nerve-wracking, I think, because it's not an everyday car that you just go out and buy. Lotus Evora is special, I think, like a Lamborghini or Ferrari. You can't find them everywhere. Luckily, this was actually the only one within driving distance that I was able to go and see in person and test drive, before I decided to buy it. And so it was just a nervous experience, but I'm really glad that I went with it. Of course, my brother was there. I always like having another set of eyes to look at the car. So decided to buy it, and I have no regrets. Looking back at it, I am much more happy with the car now, especially with it looking the way I like it. I'm not really a fan of gray. The carbon gray on this car, though, is really cool looking. But my last two vehicles were both red, so I was really pushing towards another red vehicle or blue. So the color kind of threw me off just a little bit, but I really like the interior. I love this color. I love the 6-speed manual. It had the navigation screen. It has Bluetooth. It has cruise control. Kind of some things that were hard to find on every single car, especially with the price point that I got this car. It had everything that I was looking for, minus the exterior color being gray. And with everything that I've done to it, I think it looks so much better than the day I picked it up, with all the gloss black all around. Makes the car look a lot more aggressive, and honestly now, every time I walk out to my car, it puts a smile on my face. It's so blacked out, stealthy looking that I love the way that it looks now, and it makes me happy every time I see it. And of course, every time I drive it, I have so much fun in it. Another thing too about this car is the reliability of it. That was another reason I was kind of hesitant with the purchase, I guess you could say, but the reliability of this car is going to be very good. It has the Toyota Camry 3.5 liter V6, so I know that's going to run very well. I haven't seen too many people having problems with the 6-speed manual. The clutch was replaced in this car before I bought it. So the clutch was replaced around 30,000 miles. Again, I bought it at about 32,800. I'm the 4th owner of this car, so I don't know what the previous 3 owners did to wear out the clutch, but I drive this car very well, even out on the track. I know how to drive the manual, and I'm not going to beat it up or throw it around even going out on the track. So I'm hoping that the clutch in this will last me more than 30,000 miles, and that's if I have the car for that amount of time. So in the last 6 months, again, 5,000 miles on this car. I may end up selling it in 3 or 4 years before I get to that 30,000 mile mark. Of course, I'm gonna drive this car as much as I possibly can, pushing almost 40,000 miles on something more expensive like a Ferrari, especially older Ferraris. 40,000 miles was a huge amount for that type of car. On this, I think it's just getting broken in, to be honest. I mean, 40,000 miles on a Toyota engine is really nothing. So this car has a lot of life left in it, and I can't wait to experience it even more. I actually just picked up an oil filter for it, so I'm getting ready to change the oil myself. The OEM oil filter that I got was a little over $5, so inexpensive to do. The oil's not going to be a crazy amount either, so hopefully the whole oil change will be under $50 for this car. Now that this car has a track day under its belt, we recently took both our cars to VIR and had an absolute blast. We put about 50 miles on our cars just being out on the track, which was awesome. And so now that this car has a track day under its belt, I'll go over how the car performed compared to how it performs out on the roads. Out on the track, of course, you're gonna have the best conditions. All the tracks are gonna be smooth and prepped and ready to go for racing around the track. This car was so planted in the turns. I had it in sport mode, which gives me a little bit better throttle response, and I had plenty of power to get out of the turns, and of course, it sounded so good. You saw a few clips in the beginning of this video. We do have a track day video that I'll have in the description below, but this car handled extremely well. I would almost say that it was more fun being out on the track than it was just driving around town, but the performance, especially suspension wise, it was a lot more smoother out on the track. And of course, there's not going to be any potholes or bumps to avoid, things like that. But taking it on daily roads, the suspension isn't set up like a race car. It's not back braking to where if I hit a bump, you know, it's going to hurt a lot. You definitely feel it. Sometimes you'll feel the whole car kind of bounce a little bit, just depending on, you know, going over bumps in the road or where bridges are. But the suspension is very nice. It's set up extremely well to be able to handle the track and normal daily driving. A lot of people were really surprised to see this out on the track. You know, this car is built for the track. It's a lot more daily driver friendly than the Elise, but this car still handles phenomenally out on the track, and you just don't see that many Evora owners, at least I don't, or I haven't seen many things on forums and all that about taking it to the track. So a lot of people were really impressed. I was out driving it on the track, doing what you should do in this car, and a lot of people also told me how awesome it sounded. Every Evora owner should take their car out on the track. I wish I could do it more. It was so much fun. We pushed our cars as hard as we wanted to be able to drive them home. So being a daily track car, it was a lot of fun. We could push them a little bit harder than our old cars, or other cars, I should say. And the fact that this is my daily driver, you know, when I take it to the gym or when I take it to the grocery store, I'm always looking at the car when I walk away from it, and then when I come out of wherever I am, it puts a smile on my face every time I see the car. I absolutely love it. It looks so cool in my opinion. I may want to change it up again at some point, just to change things up for fun, but for now, this car looks absolutely amazing in my opinion. Something that I've had to get used to with driving this car on a daily basis is the amount of attention that the car gets. No matter where I go, if I'm at the gym, I'm at the grocery store, just driving down the road, I'm gonna see a lot of people taking pictures of the car. If I'm outside of my car, I'll have people come up to me, you know, they'll ask me what kind of car it is, haven't seen it before, absolutely love it, they'll take pictures of it. It's just something that you don't see on a daily basis, which is why I do love driving it as much as I can, so people can see, you know, the car. You don't see them that often. I haven't seen another Evora on the road since I picked this up, or they ask me how much I drive it. When people see a car like this, they assume you have multiple cars, so this isn't going to be a daily driver. And when I tell people, this is it, this is my daily driver, I take it everywhere I go, basically. They absolutely love that. They're like, wow, you get to drive that car every single day, and it's a blast. It's so much fun to be able to share that with other people and let them know, you know, the experience of driving this car and what all I get to do with it. As far as any maintenance issues that I've had or anything that was wrong with the car from the day I bought it until now, the only things that have happened to it have been very minor. So the e-brake light on the gauge was one thing. It wouldn't go away when the e-brake was not engaged. And then this car has two 12-volt outlets in it. There's one just between the seats here, and then there's actually one in the trunk as well. Those were not working, and that turned out just to be a blown fuse. So that, again, was an easy fix. And then the only other, I guess, major thing that happened was I did lock the keys in the trunk. And so that wasn't really fun. We eventually got that fixed, and I do still only have one key. I'll probably look into getting another one at some point, but for now, that is the first and last time I will ever make that mistake. And that's it. There have been no other issues with this car. One thing that did scare me a little bit is when the temperature outside gets to below 40 degrees and my temperature gauge is below 40, a little snowflake pops up, but it just doesn't pop up. It will actually make a loud beeping noise. And the first time I saw that, I had no clue what I was looking for. Eventually I saw the snowflake and it happened again. I was like, oh, okay, it's just a snowflake. But this car does make some other beeping noises. If you leave the door open with the lights on, it'll have a constant beep. But the snowflake is one that kind of scared me a little bit, but it's no big deal now. It just, every time it's under 40 now, it'll light up and beep. Overall, this car as a daily driver, again, it is my only vehicle. It has plenty of room for what I've used it for. Anything that I need to put in it, I can put behind the back seats. There's plenty of storage for groceries. I haven't had too many things that haven't fit inside. But again, I don't have much that I take with me on a daily basis to work, so I don't need that much room. So to sum everything up, owning this car over the last 6 months has been phenomenal. It's so cool to be able to not only afford this car, but drive it on a daily basis. Again, it's my daily driver. I would definitely recommend, if you own a car like this, to drive it as much as you can. I wouldn't want to have this car sitting in my garage, you know, for a week at a time because I'm taking my other car. I want to experience this car and drive it everywhere that I possibly can. So wintertime is coming, and I can't wait to get this out in the snow and see how this car performs in the snow. I have been able to get it a little sideways already, so in the snow it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. Having the engine in the back, I'm hoping that puts a little more weight over my wheels. I do have summer tires, so hopefully I have enough grip to play around in the snow. Of course, it's rear-wheel drive, so we will see how that performs. I would like to upgrade again to a more exotic looking, even quicker car at some point, so I'm going to enjoy this car as much as I can, share everything about this car with you all the driving experiences that I do, maintenance, track days, just anything that I do with this car, so you can experience it with me as well. I'd like to keep it maybe 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, while I'm getting ready to get the next car after this. I'd love to keep this car and get a second car, but I think I'm gonna have to let this go at some point so I can upgrade to the next car. That would be even more fun and even more exotic. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give us a high five and subscribe. Like our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram for plenty of pictures of this and the 370Z. I hope you all enjoyed this video again. I'll see you all next video.